Hey everybody, welcome to a Cricut craft tutorial. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to make this awesome 3D lighted frame. It's only going to take a few items and most of them are from the Dollar Tree. You're going to need 4 frames to do this exact one. And these are, I believe, the 8x10, they could be 5x7, do not quote me on that. And you'll need a pack of LED lights, also from the Dollar Tree, they're battery powered. You'll need a piece of vellum, some vinyl, Gorilla Glue or hot melt glue or super glue, and that's all you guys need. So let's go ahead and get to Design Space and I'll show you guys how we are going to design the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. In Design Space, we're first going to make a template. So we know what size we can make our images up to. So all I do is I just open up a square, and because this is a rectangular shape, we're going to click the unlock button, which is in the lower left hand corner. It looks like a little lock. And I know that we're at about 6.7 inches wide, and we are going to be at about 8.75 inches long. This way we can sort of plan out how we want our layout to look. And we're going to do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Very simple design, just really cute, fun to do. And it takes a couple of layers because Twinkle is going to be 1, Twinkle the other will be 2, Little Star will be the 3rd, and then we'll have a 4th layer that will have the lights in it. So what we're going to do is the first thing all you have to do is just open up your text, and we're going to do Twinkle and not in that font. And I'm just going to do Twinkle again and then Little Star. And we might actually make Little Star, the word star, into a star, but let's find out. So I know I don't want to use that font. I know exactly which font I want. So I'm going to go to my system fonts. And if you know the name of your font, just search fonts. It's super easy. And all you have to do is just put in just a couple of like letters for it. So I'm going to show you, I've got 2 options. I could do this one, or I like the other one better. I like this one. So we're going to use this one for our Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Now obviously we can make this quite a bit bigger, and we're going to space it out more, and we're going to add things to it, so don't worry too much. And I think I might actually see what this looks like in a bold. I might like it bolder. I do not like it bolder. We're going to do regular. So what we're going to do is we're going to ungroup by line. And if you go to Advanced up here at the top, you just click Ungroup by Lines. And we're going to do that so that we can move stuff around independently and figure out how we want to lay this out. I'm going to lay it all out on one sheet, but when we go to do it, we're going to do it on the 3 different frames. So all we need to do is just expand it to where we want it in size, and I'm going to actually move the letters a little closer together using letter spacing. So we're just going to hit the letter space button just a couple times, and I'm going to ungroup because I want to move the T over a little bit. I don't like how far away it is. It looks kind of awkward. It's just not the style I like. And I'm going to move this out of the way for just a moment because we need to actually group these back together. So we're going to just attach them. That way it's all one piece, so we can just change the sizing all at the same time. So we're just going to make it nice and big and perfect. And then I'm going to do the same thing to this Twinkle. So all I did was I just spaced it a little bit closer together by using letter spacing. And I didn't do too much. I ungrouped. And I moved the T closer. This is all just a personal preference, and you can do it however you want. If you don't want to move your square, you can hold Control and click on each letter, but you need to make sure you're clicking physically on the letter itself and not just like next to it. And then you can click Attach, and that'll attach them all. And then we're just going to make this one bigger. And we're actually going to make that one just a little bit smaller than that. And then we're going to go to Little Star. And I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm just going to space them a little closer together. I just like that look a little bit better. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually change the way that these are angled, because I want this to look just really fun and whimsical. So I'm going to angle this one this way. And then I'm going to angle this one this way. And then we're going to leave Little Star the way that it is. And once we put this on our design, we're going to add a few little stars to it now. And we're just going to use the star shape. You could get a shape off of Google if you wanted to, but you don't have to, and I'm going to change the color of it just so we can see it better. You can use the shape in Design Space, or you can take a different shape, and all I do is I just duplicate it, because then I don't have to change the color of it at all. And remember, we don't want to cover up too much of it, because we want to be able to see through to the colors, or to the lights that are going to be in the background. So we're just going to make this one a little bit smaller. We're going to duplicate him. We're going to put him over here. I just like to put a little bit of, whimsy on these. I don't like to do too much, too crazy, but we do like to fill in some of the space just so it's not so open and empty. So that's going to be our design. Now on this one, again, remember, these are all going to be on different parts of the frame. So I like to cut a few extra stars in different sizes, because as you're doing this, you may change what you want to do. And you may want to add some stars to different layers. So I just make a few and I leave them off of my mat, or off of my template, and I just cut a few extra stars. I just do this just to add a little depth if I want to change up what I want, if maybe I want to put it behind a word, things like that. And it's just a little bit easier if you just make some extras. And if you don't use them, you save them. I always save my extra pieces, and I can use them on something else. So it's not so bad. So I'm going to cut, the words are going to be white, I believe. I haven't quite decided yet. But I think I'm going to do the words in like white or a light gray, and then maybe we'll do the stars in a gold if I've got that color. But I'll look and see what I have. We'll get this all cut and weeded, and then I'm going to show you guys how we're going to apply it so that you guys can see how we assemble our frames and how we apply. We got our picture frames from the Dollar Tree, so all I'm doing is opening them, and I'm going to take them apart. We need to keep the back for one of them, but not all of them. So I've just been keeping the back piece, this part, in a separate box, just in case I need one to replace anything. So I do keep those. And then this one came with like the matting frame, so we don't need that. I've opened two of them already, so let me just finish opening these, and we can get them started. I always like to, if I can get them all open, this will be the one that I keep the back for. So I'm just going to keep this one to the side, because this one is going to actually have the lights behind it, and I'm not going to put any vinyl on it because I'm going to put some stuff, maybe some stars and things on that one. So we have weeded everything. There's our stars, there's our twinkle twinkles. So we need to get some transfer tape on these. You can use either contact paper from the Dollar Tree, or I have a medium tack from 651 vinyl, but on these, because they're not too intricate, I'm just going to use the cheap contact paper, and it helps if I actually find one that has any stuff on it. I'm just going to use the cheap contact paper from the Dollar Tree. I don't really care too much if it's perfect on this one, as far as like the transfer tape being like really great or anything. It's not a big deal. So for those of you who have not tried the Dollar Tree stuff, I do not recommend it in the summer if it's humid. It doesn't work. It's awful. So we're going to start with our first twinkle, which is just slightly bigger than the other twinkle. So all we do, if you guys haven't seen to transfer, just take your transfer sticky stuff, put it down on top of it. It's okay if it doesn't cover the whole thing. Just be careful when you are pressing it on. So we're just going to press it on. I flip mine over, especially using the junk from the Dollar Tree, because it seems to help it keep the vinyl on it. And I like fold it off of it rather than pull it off. So if you've got a piece that's maybe not sticking as well, it'll hopefully hold on better. I will say this font weeded way better than I thought it was going to with all those little curly cues. I was a little bit concerned that it was going to be an absolute disaster, but it really wasn't so bad. So I'm going to take the glass out of one of these. And I will warn you, be careful. They are sharp. I have cut myself on them and it hurts. It hurts a lot. So we're just going to lay our first twinkle. And remember, we were just going to do it at an angle, so just sort of guesstimate. Again, they don't have to be perfect because it's kind of the look we're going for. It's kind of like, I like to describe it as Dr. Seuss-esque. So I like to do kind of a funky, fun look. to these. I don't really, this one doesn't want to stick. Be careful if you use any of your scraping type stuff on this, like your squeegees, because you can crack the glass. So just be really careful about that, because you don't want to crack your glass. That would be not so good. I do recommend cleaning these with alcohol before you do this. I just didn't do it, and I probably should have. Probably would have helped this problem, but too late now. So we're just going to go with it and hope it all holds. So you'll see some of it doesn't really want to stick. All I do when that happens is I just roll the transfer tape back down and then press it back down again, and hopefully it sticks the second time. Typically it'll come off if you sort of press it with your finger down and off the transfer tape. Alright, so there's our first twinkle. Now we can reuse this piece of tape, and I usually do. So let me move that out of the way first, and then we're going to take our second twinkle. And you can see it is slightly smaller than the first because the transfer tape fits on it really nicely. We're going to press it. We're going to flip it. And honestly, guys, this is a project that literally you can pretty much whip through. This is not a long, intensive project to do, especially with like a simpler design. Now, if you were doing something much more intricate with a lot of words or shapes and stuff, yeah, it's going to take you a lot longer. I did, you know, something pretty simple. This is going to be a gift for a friend of mine. If you guys heard that crash, it was my dog doing God knows what. So I take my second piece of glass, and what I'll do is I put it on top of my first piece of glass. And I do this so that I can line them up so that I can see where I need to lay the second twinkle so that it lays pretty nicely with the first twinkle so that they're not, you know, super jumbled. And it's okay if they're a little bit jumbled. We're not really worried about that. It's not a big deal. So we're just going to press that one down. And again, be very careful. You don't want to crack the glass. And you're just going to peel it up. On this one, I will say, so with the curlies, I found that pulling direction-wise as you read worked really well for weeding them. Pulling the other way didn't seem to work as well because of the way the curls are facing. So it didn't work as well as I would hope. Now I'm going to try to use this transfer tape one last time. Again, it's $1. I'm not that cheap, but I've got it. I don't have to cut a new piece. It seems to be fine, so let's just go with it. I do this mostly, to save myself some time. And project stuff, you know, it's not really, you know, the end of the world if you have to reuse it. So I don't mind reusing it. Now when we do the stars, we'll get a new piece. It's just a small piece, so we'll do that. And we'll do a couple stars with the new piece. So we'll just take that, and remember, we'll do the same thing. And I do this so that I can see how they're lining up. And they're actually going to be further apart than what they are right now. But this just sort of helps you line stuff up where you want to put it, gives you an idea of where you want to go with it. And that's pretty good. Now, because there's 3 of them, I'm going to go ahead and move that off so that it doesn't crack, because that was sliding an awful lot. So we're just going to press, press, press again. Hopefully you guys can see this. I know it's kind of hard. I should have angled you down a little. Let me angle you down a little more. Here we go. So all we're doing, again, press, 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 press. And we're just going to peel it off. Add an angle slowly. You know, you don't have to rip it off like a Band-Aid. So there's that. I'm going to throw this piece away. And then we have our stars. These we could really just put on like stickers if we wanted to. There's really, you don't have to put these on in any particular order, because it's going to be okay if they're behind something or in front of something. It really isn't going to make a huge difference, but we're going to try to make sure that they're not going to be, you know, totally hindering things. So like on this front one, I want to make sure that I place a star so that it doesn't cover anything. So we'll just put one right here. But then on this one, we can use one of these big stars and put it kind of about where the word star would be. Because when you put it on top of it, you have a 3D effect. And it's going to be further away. And I don't know how well you guys can see that with it being clear. But it's going to be further away than what you would normally put. So you can put things under, like with this one where it says, where the twinkle, the back one, I don't have to look at where I'm placing stars. I can just place them and not worry about it being behind something or on top of something because it won't matter. So the one thing I will say is make sure that when you do place these though, that you're not putting them where there's going to be like another star. So if I put a star up in this corner, I wouldn't want to put a star up in that corner. And I'll stack them real quick so you guys kind of get the idea here of what I'm talking about. Because if you were to put a star like here and here, you would cover the stars up. But this right here, I can see, like, by putting them like this, I can see, all right, I can put, you know, another star maybe here on this one. You just kind of space them wherever you want. It's not, there's no, you know, rhyme or reason to it. It's not a big, you know, crazy deal if you place them in a way that you like and nobody else likes. So, you know. So see, like we have a big star down here. So I wouldn't want to put like a big star there, but I might put like a big star here. And I might take this one that only has, you know, 2 stars on it, and I'll line it up again, and I'll take a look and see, like, where can I put a star that isn't going to hinder the view of anything else. And so I'll put it right there because that's going to give us like a nice 3D effect. So I think that's enough stars. So what we're going to do is clean up our transfer tape mess, all of our extra stuff, because we need some space to start gluing. So before we can get gluing, we do need to make sure that we remove the little tabs, these things. So usually what I do is I just take my scissors and I bend them a little bit, and I use my scissors because my hands are terrible, and they pop right out. The joy of a Dollar Tree frame. So just make sure you get all of them out, and then you can glue them together. Ready to glue the glass on, because remember, we don't have anything to hold it in now. So I use a little bit of the clear Gorilla Glue. This stuff's awesome. It dries clear. I'll get there eventually. And it's super easy to use. And it really doesn't clump up or anything, which is nice, unlike a hot melt glue. So all I do is I lay my glass into my frame. I've already glued this one. So I lay my glass into my frame. And I then kind of even it out. And I just take a bit of the Gorilla Glue, and you don't take a ton, just a dab, and you just squeeze a little bit into the corners. You don't have to use a ton, just enough. And you really don't want to use a ton because you don't want it to kind of seep over the frame. So you just kind of a quick squeeze will do you. And it is going to need to set for a while. Oops, I didn't get quite enough in that corner. And you're just going to do this to each of the frames, and you're going to set them aside to dry. So just make sure that you are putting your picture the correct way. So make sure your glass is the correct direction. So in this case, it would be backwards to you. And then just go into each of the corners and squeeze a little bit of glue. And don't worry, if you get a little bit on the glass, we can scrape it off with an X-Acto knife if you needed to. It's no big deal if you get a little bit on the glass. Honestly, it dries clear and nobody's going to notice it once it's all put together. So don't worry too much. Oops. And then just make sure you recap the glue because it will dry up. And then I think this was about $7 at Home Depot. Totally worth it. Used it a lot. It works great. So let's let these sit and dry, and then we'll show you guys how to glue them all together and how to insert the lights into the back one and what we're going to use so that it's not just a bright bunch of lights. Our lights are just from the Dollar Tree, and they're just little LED lights with a little battery pack, and this is what they look like. They're just kind of a yellowy. I'm going to turn them off real quick. All I did was, so that we could put them into our frame, was take our cheap backing from the Dollar Tree. I used my Cricut tool because it's all I had. And I just poked holes in it in just various places. And I counted how many lights I had and then poked that many holes. So all I'm going to do is just kind of work my way around. And we may end up putting a little bit of hot melt glue on the back of these. But we'll see how it goes at this point. So you're just going to poke them through. Some of them are going to be a little bit tighter than others, so you may just have to shove a little harder. But all you got to do is just shove them through the hole that you made. And then once they're all through, I'll turn them on just so you can see, and I'll shove them all through later. But once they're through, they're going to do this. And then we're going to take a piece of vellum, which I cut to fit in the frame. And let me pull the vellum out so you guys can kind of get an idea. So the vellum is going to kind of make the lights a little bit less, like bright. So you see how it kind of, instead of it being like that, where it's just a pin light, it's a little more spread out. So I'm going to get these all pushed through. We're going to let the glue dry, and then we can assemble. The glass has dried to the frame, so now we're just going to glue the frames together. And I'm going to use the same Gorilla Glue to do it. And I just do a little bit of glue, and make sure you do stack these in the right order, because if you don't, your picture frame won't make any sense. So I just put a little bit of glue in the corners. Again, being careful not to get any on the glass. And then all I do is take the frame that goes on top. So in this one, the lower twinkle goes on top of that one. And then you just want to line them up and put them on a surface when you do this that you're not going to be using for a little while, because you do need to let these dry, and you just want to make sure that you're lining them up really well. And you can move this. That's the nice thing about the Gorilla Glue versus like a hot melt glue, is you can move this around if you need to. And then you can slide them a bit if you know something isn't completely lined up. So don't worry too much if it's not lined up right away, because you do have some time to slide them around. Just don't touch them after you've lined them up. Again, just a jab of glue would do ya. This stuff's pretty darn strong, so. And all I do, like I said, just stack it right on top. And this is going to be a fairly thick piece when you're done with it. So you want to keep that in mind as to where you're going to display this, that it will be fairly thick. And you're going to probably end up with a little bit of glue on your hands, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. So then I'm just going to make sure that these are all lined up the way I want. This one's wanting to slide around a little bit more than I prefer. I want them lined up just a little bit better. Okay. I've got glue literally all over me, but that's okay. So then again, one last one. Just do glue on the corners. And this is the one that's going to have the lights in it. So as I told you before, I poked the lights through already, and I already installed the vellum. So you can see the vellum's already on there. It's just in the frame. And so then all I do is just the same thing. I just slide this on, and if you have a little bit of extra glue poking out, it's no big deal. Just wipe it off, and then you can usually use it to sort of seal in your edge a little bit. And then you just want to line it up. It looks like everything's pretty well lined up. So then again, just walk away, let it dry, and when we come back, we can see how it all looks. Okay, the 3D frame is all finished. So let's see if you guys can get a good look. It's a little bit bright in here today, so it's kind of hard to get a good look at it, but I'll see if I can get you guys kind of a couple angles here. And as you can see, it's just all 4 frames stacked. Now I will say I did get some Gorilla Glue on the outside, so we do have a mess on that, but we could always clean it up. And then I just want to show you the back, where I kind of shoved all of the lights in. And then we have the battery pack, which we can just glue to the back of this. Now with this, you could either sit it up straight and down, up and down like that, or you could lean it back. I think the vellum really makes a difference without making those lights look super, super like bright and one, you know, single light. And you guys can add colored lights, you can add whatever you want. You could do colored vellum if you wanted to. I just had the white. You guys can be super creative with these. Do these for holidays. Do them for your friends and family. Lots of great options to use for these. If you guys have any questions, please let me know down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. If you're looking for any tutorials, please let me know that in the comments below as well. I make these videos because you guys ask for them. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos all the time. And hit that bell icon because that will alert you to when I post a new video. Have a great day and happy crafting.